After making these ribbon rosebud pincushions, I've decided that I really like the look of the pincushion more if it has a little bit of fleece or batting underneath the ribbon. It kind of evens everything out. So I'm using something called Everyday Fleece. It's by Joann's. It only costs $4 a yard. It's 60 inches wide. It's a good value for this project. Now it does have some stretch. So for that reason, you can't hoop it without stabilizing it. And you're not supposed to iron fleece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hoop some interfacing. And this is something like soft and sheer. And then I'm going to put some spray adhesive on that interfacing to hold my fleece in place. And I'm going to be careful not to stretch the fleece as I'm positioning it in the hoop. You may have noticed my fleece is white and my pincushion is wine. And that is my favorite velvet ribbon to use for these pincushions. So what I'm going to do is when I embroider the stitches to help guide me when placing and cutting the ribbon, in addition to those stitches, I'm also going to embroider a small patch of the fake suede in the middle with a little heart in it because I'm celebrating Valentine's Day. There are 8 different color changes indicated in this embroidery. The first 3 are not really intended as color changes. They're just intended to get the machine to stop so you can take the hoop out and manipulate some of the things going on, like trimming the sides of the little piece for the center, or even adding it with some spray adhesive. So the first thread I'm always going to use is the one that coordinates or matches the color ribbon I'm going to use to make the ribbon rose pincushion. I'm going to begin stitching, and the first set of stitches is just to outline where my square will go. When this row of stitching is complete, I'm going to take the hoop out of the machine, put a little spray adhesive here, and affix this piece of fabric to that area. When this machine stitching stops, I'm going to remove the hoop, but I'm going to leave the thread in to stitch one more pass. But what I'm going to do is trim kind of close to this border. I've trimmed my material to resemble the shape that's been embroidered around the heart. Next, I'm going to stitch out the placement guides for every ribbon. I'm only going to stitch one row, and then I'm going to use a contrasting thread to stitch another one. This will be my first thread change in the needle, and I'm just going to change my thread so it's a high contrast to the red stitching I've been doing already. I just stitched out this row of stitching. I forgot to film it, but it's a yellow row of stitching. It's high contrast to the red that I just used, and now I'm going to change my thread color again. I switched the thread to a high contrast thread. I used orange for this set of stitches. When the embroidery is done, it looks like this on the front. Each one of these outlines indicates the position and the shape of the ribbon required to build this pincushion. There is one outline that runs entirely around the project, and that will be a line that you'll use to zigzag and trim the piece when all the ribbons are positioned in place. Unhoop the fleece Trim the interfacing so it matches the shape of the fleece, and leave the fleece like this until all the ribbons are applied to it.